Hey guys, Big D here at Horoscope, where I talk about and recommend my favorite horror movies. Today, we are looking at The Sandman, a made-for-television movie that aired on the Sci-Fi Channel back in 2017. So the basic premise is this 8-year-old girl goes to live with her aunt. And this little girl, she can move things with her mind. She can bring this monster out of her nightmares to kill for her. On top of that, you have this government agency that wants to exploit the girl's powers and use them for their own benefit. That's pretty much the premise of this movie. So let's talk about the positives. First off, the cast is actually pretty solid. Yet, Haley Duff, older sister to Hilary Duff, she does a good job of being the aunt of this little girl, and she comes off as really likable and relatable. She just wants to protect her niece. Her kind of boyfriend he's kind of conflicted. He's a more kind of interesting character, and I think the actor does a really good job there. And the little girl, who's played by Shay Smollett, she's been in a few films. She's been The Hatred. She was in this other lower budget film called Derailed. She's been in a few movies. She does a really good job of being creepy in some scenes and being vulnerable and scared in others. Last but not least, it has Tobin Bell, who played John Kramer in the Saw franchise. He kind of plays this doctor, and he does a really good job of it. Then you have the creature itself, which for the most part is done with a guide over pursuit. And those effects are actually pretty good. There are some CGI there, but it doesn't look that bad. The movie's runtime is about 86 minutes, so it's pretty brisk, doesn't overstay its welcome. You do get a few really cool kills, but a lot of them are just kind of like real quick and mostly off screen. Then there is also, so let's talk about the negatives. I think the biggest negative here that kind of hurts the movie a bit is the way the little girl is handled. In some scenes, she's scared, and she says that she can't control her powers. But in some of the scenes, it kind of becomes clear that she can do it, and she is controlling her powers. So it's kind of inconsistent at times. Also, there's a little sequence in, I think it's this sort of, it's where you go to visit your deceased. It's in like a big old building, and her and her aunt are there, and a bunch of these government agent guys, they go there to capture the girl. And once the girl confronts about 7 of them, they just stand there with their guns trained on her. They don't even fire. And it's just, really? You see this girl and you know that she's a threat. Wouldn't you just like tranquilize her or anything? But they don't do anything. They just stand there and just wait for the monster to show up, and then it just kills them off screen. So, I think overall, I give this movie 4 skulls out of 5. Like I said, it's got a solid cast, good performances. It, instead of focusing on teenagers like most horror movies do, this focuses on a family, and it feels fresh. It's a nice little breath of fresh air. Brief runtime, cool looking monster, couple cool kills. Tobin Bell's really great in this, but it's just hurt by the way the little girl's handled. Feels inconsistent, and the kind of the dumb decisions by some of the government agents. Join me next time when we look at a remake that I feel didn't really need to exist. We'll be looking at Prom Night. Until then, this has been Big D over at Horoscope. Stay safe.